You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the last few days, we've seen some unruly scenes in Karnataka over denial of entry to hijab-clad girl students in college campuses and classrooms. The political and legal fight went on in the Karnataka High Court today, but today there seems to have come some resolution in sight. A three-judge bench of the Karnataka High Court, in its wisdom, has decided to prioritize the restoration of peace and tranquility and put education ahead of this divide and these unruly scenes. The Karnataka High Court has also said that no one will be permitted to wear a hijab or any other religious dress, including saffron shawls, till the court gives its verdict. So a middle ground has been found. The stress has been put right back on education of these girls. But the opposition continues. School reopened tomorrow across Karnataka. And the legitimate question that needs an answer tonight is, will the Hijab Halla now end? That's the question and the debate coming up.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining me on the debate, Gaurav Bhatia and Dr. Anand Ranganathan continue to be with us. Joining us tonight is Mariam Nasir Alavi, Varis Pathan also with us, Advocate Neelofar. But my first question goes to Amina Shervani, activist. And Amina Shervani ji, I want to ask you this question. The High Court has said no religious symbols in schools and colleges. And that is the interim position that has to be maintained. Don't you think this ends the debate? No religious symbolism, no tikas, no hijabs, because in schools and colleges, you're there for education, and we need to put education ahead of this kind of an opposition over nothing. After 2 years, schools and colleges reopen, and we've had them shut for 3 days only because we are, having this whole face-off over a hijab versus saffron shawl. Don't you think all this is so unnecessary?
Totally unnecessary. And 1500 years ago, the Quran actually came, Islam came to finish purdah, to give women rights, to give slaves rights. I don't know from where it has been made into this regressive, dogmatic, nonsensical system, which certainly is not from the book itself. It came to liberate, it was succeeding, and I think that is why it has been subverted. Today, Muslim women should have been the most modern, the most progressive, the most forward-looking women leading the way if they had bothered to read the Quran. As for the nomenclature, the hijab is not a garment for women to wear. The hijab is a curtain, or the hijab is a screen that is put between God and man, or is put between your bedroom and your outer room, or is put in a place where your privacy and your family's privacy is protected from the street or the road. Now, how can a woman wear a screen? How can a woman wear a curtain? It is not a women's dressing. First of all, they've got the name all wrong. Second of all, nowhere does Islam tell women that you are weak. It does not tell them that you have to cover yourself like dustbins have put the cover on top of kachra. Not at all. You are free to study. You are free to marry who you want. Women also have the right to divorce their husbands in Islam. Free to marry, free to divorce, free to have custody of children, inherit property from your fathers, also get meher from your husbands. Now, this most modern religion, 1500 years ago, has already settled all these issues.
Let me ask Mariam Nasir Alavi. Mariam ji, where does the Quran say anything about hijab being absolutely essential for women? Why are we making our girls not go to school because suddenly they've decided that hijab is the reason why studies should be put on the back burner?
Navika, the girls are not going to school because the state government decided to blow hot and cold on them. They were wearing the hijab and attending the classes as usual, and then a turncoat, cloak and dagger order came, and that's where the debate is going on right now. So it's a question of not whether or not girls should be wearing hijab, but whether or not they should be denied admission in government schools.
Well, cloak and dagger, Gaurav Bhatia, cloak and dagger way in which the government came up with a new order. You know, there are many debates that are going on social media on the origins of this entire fracas. But do you think it is a cloak and dagger move by the government, or do you think there is politics that is happening by some stakeholders in Karnataka who want to consolidate their political position?
Navika, let me just place the facts, and I think the viewers are very smart. They would see through the entire sinister design by these very panelists who are making these allegations. This matter was heard for the last 3 days in a row. Single judge heard it for 2 days and then referred it to a larger bench. And today, a 3-judge bench comprising of the Honorable Chief Justice of Karnataka, Rituraj Avasthi, they have passed an order denying any interim relief to the petitioners who had approached the High Court. So that means the 1983 law, you know, nothing has changed. 1983 is the law, Karnataka Education Act. They say that please don't inject religion into colleges and schools, which are areas of learning. Now, I want to ask Varis Pathan and my sisters here, will they abide by the order and the discretion that has been exercised by the Karnataka High Court or not? If you believe in the Constitution, Karnataka Education Act of 1983 and the Karnataka High Court, I am sure your response will be yes, you will abide with it. And I'll give my time to them.
Well, Varis Pathan, today the court very clearly says no religious symbol. And isn't that the way things should be in colleges and schools, where education is the primary issue, not really religious symbolism, whether it's a saffron shawl or it is a hijab?
Well, Navika, the premature jubilation on an interim order is not good. Let us wait till Monday, let the matter be decided, let a final order come, and then we'll see. What we are saying is that the notification issued by the BJP-led Karnataka government is unconstitutional. It is violation of Article 14, 15, 19, 21 and 25 of the Constitution, and it is against the Puttaswamy judgment, which speaks about freedom of choice. Now, if I want to wear something, Modi cannot say, Varis Pathan, you have to wear shirt, Varis Pathan, you have to wear this food, you have to eat this food, Varis Pathan, you have to do this. If my good friend Anand Ranganathan wants to wear an Arabic robe and he wants to wear a cap and come on the national debate, he is free to wear, yes, and he looks handsome also in that dress.
He can wear it on a national debate. And our friends, Nilofar ji, Mariam ji are wearing, they are sitting with their heads covered. We don't have a problem, but they are not in school. They are on television, they can do as they please, they are not in school. They are not in school. You don't understand the premise on which this is happening. And Anand Ranganathan, ya to, one minute,
allow me to make my point. At least you have called me on a debate, let me make my point.
Kitna lamba point hai, sir?
Yeah. My question
hijab
is simple.
Jitna lamba ke burke jitna lamba?
Somebody wants to wear a head scarf. What is the difficulty? Constitution jitna lamba.
You know, Navika,
what is the is it a danger to the national security?
1 minute. No. I've heard every word of what you said, Varis Pathan, and I want to ask Dr. Anand Ranganathan one question. He says, and Varis Pathan says, Modi ko kya problem hai, main kya pehnu? Now you got the story, you got the prayog and the sanjog, because problem hai Modi. बीजेपी सरकार करे तो यहाँ हाय तौबा. केरला में 2018 में हुआ, no problem. Kerala High Court says, and there it is a different government which said that the collective institutional freedom will have the writ over individual rights. There it was no problem in 2018 when Modi was sitting in Delhi, because that was happening in Kerala. And today, if you see all the protests that are happening, they are happening in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal. all non-BJP ruled state. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, दाल में कुछ काला है या दाल काली है?
नहीं, दाल ही पूरी काली है। लेकिन नाविका, मेरी आपसे भी एक शिकायत है। देखिए, आपकी डिबेट्स पे आप जानती हैं मैं पूरी तैयारी करके आता हूं, पूरा डेटा लेके आता हूं, सारा ओपिनियन बेस्ड ऑन फैक्ट एंड जजमेंट। लेकिन क्या होता है कि आपकी डिबेट जब शुरू होती है तो एक दो पैनलिस्ट इतना झूठ बोलते हैं कि मुझे उसमें थोड़ा डाइवर्ट करना पड़ता है उनके झूठ को रिबटल करने के लिए। तो मेरी आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि मैं जो तैयार होकर आया हूं, प्रिपेयर करके आया हूं अपना फैक्ट्स, वो बोलने का मुझे 1 मिनट दीजिए। और जो पहली पैनलिस्ट मिस नीलोफर ने जो इतना झूठ बोला है, वो भी अल्लाह ताला के लिए और कुरान के लिए, मुझे प्लीज।
नीलोफर जी ने अभी तक नहीं बोला, अमीना शेरवानी पहली पैनलिस्ट जो बोल रही थी।
अब अमीना जी ने जो झूठ बोला है कुरान के लिए, होली कुरान के लिए, मुझे प्लीज रिबट करनी दीजिए। आप मुझे 1 मिनट देंगे उसके लिए, बस 1 मिनट ही लगेगा।
आनंद रंगनाथन जी, आप तो बिल्कुल पॉलिटिशियन हो गए, अपना समय पूरा ले लेते हैं।
रोकना है, अपना
बोलिए,
बोलना है।
बोलिए।
हाँ, थैंक यू। मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं, जो वो कह रही हैं कि कुरान में कहीं नहीं लिखा है, मैं उन्होंने
हाँ, पहले ही भाव तोल शुरू कर देते हैं कि इतने मिनट इसके लिए, इतने मिनट इसके लिए। पॉलिटिशियंस के साथ तर्क वितर्क कर सकता आदमी, लेकिन ऑथर और साइंटिस्ट के साथ और प्रोफेसर साहब हैं JNU के, इनके साथ तर्क वितर्क कैसे हो?
नहीं नाविका, प्लीज, मेरा टाइम जाया हो रहा है, मैं बस बहुत कम टाइम लेना चाहता हूं।
प्लीज गो ऑन।
तो वो पहली पैनलिस्ट ने कहा कि कुरान में कहीं नहीं लिखा है और कुरान वर्क्स फॉर विमेन्स राइट। मैं कुरान ही कोट करता हूं। एंड टेल द बिलीविंग विमेन टू रिड्यूस सम ऑफ देयर विजन एंड गार्ड देयर प्राइवेट पार्ट्स एंड नॉट एक्सपोज देयर अडॉर्नमेंट एक्सेप्ट that which necessarily appears thereof, and to wrap a portion of their head covers over their chests and not expose their adornment except to their husbands, their fathers, and those who do not have an evil eye. 24:31. O Prophet, tell your wives and your daughters and the women of the believers to bring down over themselves part of their outer garments. This is more suitable that they will be known and not be abused. 33:59. ये अल्लाह ने कहा है। नंबर 2, जो ये कह रहे हैं कि कुरान इज लिबरेटिंग विमेन, मेन आर इन चार्ज ऑफ विमेन, you can strike those women who you fear arrogance. 4:34. Your women are your tilling fields, so go into your fields whichever way you like. 2:23. The share of a male shall be twice that of a female when it comes to inheritance. 4:11. मैंने भी कुरान पढ़ी है, इन्होंने पता नहीं क्या पढ़ा है, मुझे पता नहीं। आप मुझे इन फैक्ट्स पे आने दीजिए जो कि मैं वारिस पठान साहब से एग्री कर रहा हूं। क्यों एग्री कर रहा हूं? क्योंकि अगर आप और रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशंस, सॉरी,
allow him to complete. उन्होंने पहले he is already negotiated his terms, so he is going to give us a few more facts.
Yes, very quickly नाविका। एक नंबर 1, केरला में जैसे आपने कहा, केरला गवर्नमेंट ने ये डिसमिस कर दी प्ली कि आप हिजाब एसपी यूनिफॉर्म के ऊपर पहन सकते हैं, कोई आउटरीच नहीं हुआ। केरला में मुस्लिम एजुकेशन सोसाइटी है जो कि 150 स्कूल्स रन करती है, मुस्लिम एजुकेशन सोसाइटी, उन्होंने निकाब बैन कर दिया, कोई आउटरीच नहीं हुआ। केरला हाई कोर्ट ने 2016 की जजमेंट दे रखी है कि आप हिजाब को स्कूल यूनिफॉर्म के ऊपर नहीं पहन सकते, कोई आउटरीच नहीं हुआ। लेकिन बीजेपी रूल कर्नाटका है, सब चढ़े हुए हैं, इंक्लूडिंग वारिस पठान साहब। लेकिन उनकी बात मैं पहले कह चुका हूं, मैं उनसे वाकिफ हूं और मैं एग्री करता हूं। अगर आप किसी और रिलीजन, किसी और रिलीजियस सिंबल, किसी और रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी को अलाउ कर रहे हैं तो आपको हिजाब भी अलाउ करना चाहिए।
So we are saying,
बैन करिए।
So we are saying, so Dr. Anand Ranganathan, we are saying any religious symbol, including saffron scarves, cannot be allowed, and that is the position the court has taken, and we all should welcome it. And Nilofer of National Conference with us on the show. Sorry for coming late to you, but Nilofer ji, this is the position that should be held up in every educational institution, because students should not be fighting about what to wear in a place where education is their primary focus. Don't you agree? Do you think these unruly scenes are necessary at all from either side?
Navika, we also have been to the schools also. We have never seen that the hijab is creating any trouble for any person who is not of this religion, who is believing in Islam. So I think the controversy is intentional, which has been raised by all those political parties.
Ma'am, before you say that, would you like to check all the court rulings from 2003 Bombay High Court, from Kerala, from the Supreme Court judgment in 2015?
Provides as the right. Our constitution provides. Just now, one of our panelists was speaking about Karnataka Education Act,
Navika.
right? But tell me, once an act is being enacted, being made by the legislatures, it is at the end of the day constitution which holds good more over that act.
What
So
is
our
this?
constitution
Navika,
provides us
can
the
I
right
respond to her?
under Article 25 to 28. It gives me the right of conscience.
Gaurav Bhatia, you are also a senior advocate. The lady here is also a lawyer. I want you to respond to her on both legal and political grounds. The political question being, is this deliberately being done by the BJP? And of course, the legal question.
Always targeting the Muslim. I'm very sorry to say. First it was triple talaq, then halala.
So
then
now
no place for
I
the
hope Nilofer
namaz.
ji can listen to me. Nilofer ji, please listen to me.
I have not yet completed.
Nilofer
When
ji,
you are-
first
I'm running out of time, ma'am. I'm running out of time. Allow
Navika
Gaurav
ji
Bhatia
said-
to make his point. If I still have time, I'll come back to you. Gaurav Bhatia.
Nilofer ji, I will give you a free lesson in law, a very basic lesson.
I don't know.
There is a
I don't need that
presumption
free lesson.
of constitutionality for any enacted law. So 1983 Act is constitutional till it is held to be ultra-vires the constitution by Supreme Court or the High Court. Second,
It cannot
when you
override
talk
the
about
fundamental
Article
rights.
25, Navika, Article
No act can
25.
override the fundamental
Please
rights.
be quiet. Please be quiet, I'm answering it. These are all free lessons. You'll have to pay lakhs of rupees to get these lessons. I'm giving it to you for free. Article 25, freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion is subject to public order, morality and health. Now, Waris Pathanji, I have a question for you and give my 10 seconds to him. वारिस भाई प्लीज बताइए, आप कह रहे थे पुत्ता स्वामी. It is Puttu Swami or Putta Swami. Please correct yourself. It is not Puttu Swami. It is Putta Swami. And how many judges
Swami.
were actually giving this verdict?
Okay.
And does it directly deal on the issue of hijab? Can you please tell the viewers how many judges in the bench, and does it deal with the issue of hijab?
Article 25
Please tell us.
Putta Swami judgment directly speaks about Article
judgment. You
25
said
1 of the Constitution.
Puttu Swami when
and
it is
what
Putta
is
Swami.
25 1, Mr. Gaurav
No, I'm
Bhatia?
asking you a question.
I want to...
How many
Listen.
judges have authored this judgment that you were
See,
relying
freedom
on?
of consent.
How many judges?
I know you are...
How many judges? How many judges?
I want that. I am coming on that.
You are a lawyer also.
I am coming on the judgment of Yusuf Putta Swami. I am coming on that. It is direct
Tell me,
judgment,
tell me.
section 25(1). Freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion. Subject to public order,
It is-
morality
it
and
is
health
on
and
right
to the
to
other provisions of
privacy,
this part.
not on
All
Article
persons
25,
are
my
equally
brother.
entitled to freedom of
And you did
conscience
not tell us
and the
how many
right
judges
to
have authored
profess,
the judgment
practice
and were part of
and
the bench.
propagate religion. 25(1). I am talking about section 25(1). In Putta
Swami judgment is about right to privacy.
I am reading the judgment.
It is not about Article
I am showing you
25.
section 25(1). I am showing.
How many judges then tell me?
Choice.
Navika,
25(1).
that
It is
judgment-
clear.
Well, the matter is sub judice. The views are free flowing, but the question is, in a classroom, what should be most sacred? Should it be education or should it be the student's dress? Whether hijab or a saffron cloak, whether religious symbolism of a tika or a tilak or wearing a burqa. That is the question. And in the interim position that the Karnataka High Court has stated, possibly this is the sanity that needs to return. When schools and colleges have opened after nearly 2 years of being shut over COVID pandemics, then should students be in a face-off over hijab to schools and colleges, or should they be worried really about their kitab? And that's the question that all students need to bear in mind. No religious symbolism, neither saffron nor hijab, because it is kitab first in a classroom. And that is the only sacred symbol that should be kept on top priority. What do you think, dear viewers? We'll take up the debate once again when the court really does conclude this case entirely. But we do hope all these scenes of confrontation will now come to an end, at least till the court takes a final view. Thank you very much to all my guests for joining me on the NewsHour tonight. Good night, stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place on the NewsHour at night.